1, 2. I said microphone check. 1, 2. Can't nobody out here do it like me. Ain't nobody out here winning like me. Can't nobody out here do it like me. Just like me, like me. Can't nobody out here do it like me. Ain't nobody out here winning like me. Can't nobody out here do it like me. Just like me, like me.
What's up, everybody? Good evening, and welcome into another episode of Ace's Wild Chicago Sports Takes with Ace and Tarbill, right here on the Undefeated Sports Network. I am Andrew Tarbill. To my left is Angelo Ace Camacho, and he's a little wild. Not even wearing a hat tonight. It's throwing me off a little bit, bro.
I know, man. I got a fresh cut, so sometimes when you get a fresh cut, you gotta let the cut breathe. You know,
gotta let it
breathe.
Air out.
I got this whole new vibe going with me, so I didn't want to smother the cut before I could let it breathe a little bit. You know,
fair enough. I respect it. I like it. How we doing tonight, bro?
Good. You know, hey, we had some Chicago Bears football on TV last night, right?
For a little while, although it got rained out. For those of you that didn't watch in the third quarter, the game was put on rain delay last night and ultimately called by the NFL due to safety concerns for the Lightning, etc. So our rookie Bears triage was cut short, but hey, the Bears technically got a win. Even if it is a week 1 preseason extra game, that doesn't matter. It's still a win, and I'm here for it. So
a win's a win, right?
A win is a win.
You have to build the culture somehow, even if it's in the preseason.
Absolutely. So before we talk about the game and what unfolded last night and what we're looking forward to in the next week, I want to take a few minutes to congratulate those Hall of Famers from the Bears that were inducted last night. None bigger than the man, the myth, the legend, Steve McMichael, Mongo, 5-time All-Pro, 95 career sacks.
For a defensive tackle.
For a defensive tackle, that is 4th all-time, I do believe. Very, very good that Mongo finally made it into the Hall of Fame, especially considering the defense that he was on, right? That's what everybody talks about. He was an anchor. He was the guy that would often take on double teams so the linebackers could get to the quarterback. Tremendous football player, tremendous human being, great wrestler. Great as
That's right, United States champion, WCW United States champion.
Great as a sports personality on ESPN Chicago. Obviously, everyone knows the battle that Steve's dealing with and kind of where he's at today. Unfortunately, he was unable to be in attendance live last night at the game, but his wife Misty was there representing him. And congrats to Steve on a really storied career. Can't say enough about the person that Steve McMichael was.
He was just a ball of energy, man.
Got Alex here in the chat saying fresh, should have just shaved it all. Alex wants Ace to go bald. So
no shot.
So let's do this. Let's segue for a second and take a sidebar. Excuse me. If the Bears win, let's say if the Bears make the playoffs, Ace, will you shave your head?
Absolutely not. Listen.
If the Bears make the Super Bowl, will you shave your head?
No shot.
If the Bears
What's my
win
thing
the
been
Super
this whole
Bowl,
time with you? I'm the guy with the good hair.
With the hair
right?
in the group.
Right, with the good hair. That's me.
Hey,
That's my.
I got a little bit of hair under.
That's
this
the only
cap
thing
right
I'm
now.
known for on this network, and we can't get rid of my identity of being the guy with the good hair, and that's just not how it's going to go.
Shaved is a hairstyle, my friend.
Yeah, well, but then you don't have hair.
It's convenient.
I mean, until you have to shave it again.
Yeah, once a week ain't that bad. But anyways, all right. I was trying to get the fans what
This one time I watched an old All-Star game with Shaq, and he was bald and didn't have a beard and just had sideburns.
That's interesting.
That's
why you would not shave the sideburns, I don't know. But hey, anyways, back to the topic at hand, guys. This is Ace's Wild. We get a little wild sometimes and try to get one of our main hosts and co-founders of this network to shave his head live on the air. It didn't work out. I'm
live
sorry.
On the air. Oof. Maybe. I'll tell you what. If we can get 100,000 likes on this video on YouTube, I'll shave my head live on the air. Actually, no, I won't. I take
setting
that
a
back completely.
setting a
I take that
very
completely
steep
back.
target there, Ace. But
I
nope,
take that completely back.
no going
because
back now.
my luck, it'll accidentally get that many likes, and then I'll have to do it, and I'm not gonna do it.
Oh, I'm blowing this shit up everywhere. Steve Mongo McMichael, absolute legend on defense. For me, though, the night was most special. Seeing someone who I grew up watching constantly, who really made me love the game of football the way I did, and one of the biggest reasons, other than probably Brian Urlacher and Lance Briggs, that I've been a Bears fan for the entirety of my life, and that is none other than Devin Hester.
The Windy City Flyer, baby.
4-time All-Pro Devin Hester, 2000s All-Decade Team, 2010 All-Decade Team, 21 career return touchdowns. How many of those are with the Bears, Ace?
Everyone except for one.
The answer is 20, yes. All
Everyone
but
except
one.
for one.
So how many of those were in his first season as a rookie?
6.
That is
6
incorrect.
returns?
I believe it was 7.
7. Can't be right all the time.
It was 2 in
I'm
that
right
game
all the
against
time, then
Rams.
people expect it, you know?
But no, Devin Hester, man, electric, as Jeff Joniak would say. He was ridiculous. Loved seeing Devin Hester play the game of football. Just every time he was back there, especially when it was a home game, you would just hear the presence and the fans cheering because they knew every single time he returned either a kick or a punt, there was a chance for it to be ran back to the house.
Yep.
Nothing more memorable, however, than the Super Bowl game against the Indianapolis Colts, where Tony Dungy said, "We're not scared to kick the ball to him. We're not going to change anything that we do." Bam, they boot the ball in the end zone. The opening kickoff, Devin Hester grabs it and manages to run it all the way back for a touchdown. Historic. He's the only player in NFL history to ever do so. And maybe with the kickoff rule change, we might see it happen. I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, the adaptation of the XFL, UFL kickoff rules may make more returns possible again. It was interesting to see last night, but before we get into the game, the last, I want to say, Chicago Bear, although he's not posterized as a Chicago Bear here, Julius Peppers, defensive end, obviously spent most of his career with Carolina, 6-time All-Pro, All-Decade Team, 2010s All-Decade Team, 159.5 career sacks. Julius Peppers was explosive every time he was on the football field. Great to see Julius get the recognition that he deserves. Obviously, as I said, he's pictured there in his Panthers uniform where he spent much of his career, but he did have a successful stint here with the Bears, and that's how I'd like to remember him. I don't want to remember him going to Green Bay, that's for sure, but hey, sometimes those things happen, right? David Montgomery's a Lion now, so, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that defense with Peppers on it, I mean, that's what Chicago football was known for, right?
Right.
Was the defensive prowess and just how good they were always able to be, the consistency of always being a top defense. And you kind of had to be because your offense couldn't do anything.
Right. And that leads right into the next graphic that we have here, Ace. Most passing yards by a rookie quarterback in Bears history. It's sad to say that Mitchell Trubisky, Maserati Mitch, leads this list at 2,193 passing yards as a rookie. Justin Fields, number 2 at 1,870. Then we've got Kyle Orton, 1,869. Jim McMahon at 1,501. And the fifth quarterback on this list, under 1,500 yards as a rookie, Cade McNown. So that really shows a testament, I would say, to the struggles that these Bears have gone through at the quarterback position over the last 20 years. I mean, realistically, there hasn't been good quarterback play really in my lifetime as a Bears fan, with the exception of Smokin' Jay. I know what you're going to do here. Go ahead.
Are you like trying to mock me? I kind of understand.
That's my guy, Jay Cutler.
That is your guy.
I love Jay Cutler.
For the fans that don't know, Ace got all emotional one night when he was sipping some Cazadores and decided to send Jay Cutler highlight reels to our entire
I
group
did.
chat
I did.
and
Yeah.
said,
The
I
tequila
miss
was flowing
Jay
quite a bit.
with some crying faces. So there's that. For those of you
Yeah.
that don't know, Angelo Ace Camacho is a softie at heart towards Jay Cutler. He
Towards Jay
definitely
Cutler
is.
only.
All right.
Smoking Jay, man. I mean,
I'm glad we
it's
got
hard
that out
not
of the
to be
way.
when you look at all the, we just looked at the rookies, right? That the Bears have had. All trash, right?
Garbage.
Look at the other quarterbacks that the Bears have had other than Jay Cutler, and what has it ever really amounted to?
I liked Kyle Orton.
He was okay. Jay was better than Kyle Orton.
I don't think we got enough time with Orton to
I think
decide
we
that,
do.
but
I
I
think we
don't
do.
want to dwell
Jay
in
made
the
it to the
past.
NFC Championship game.
Okay, Orton got 2 seasons and then got traded to Denver.
Because he wasn't good.
Whatever. But we are not here to talk about the past tonight, although that's all we've been doing thus far. We are here to talk about the 2024 NFL season, and that kicked off last night with our Chicago Bears facing D'Amico Ryan and the Houston Texans in the Canton Hall of Fame football game. So we went through the inductions, the ones that I don't want to say the valuable ones because all the players that were inducted last night were valuable, but
valuable to us.
The ones that have ties to the Chicago Bears, although there was a San Francisco 49er inducted last night who I'm a big fan of as well. But with that being said, let's look at our 2024 Chicago Bears. Specifically, the starters did not play last night. We saw, well, there were a couple out there. Cairo Santos is a starter. He was out there. It's because they don't have another kicker.
Didn't the running backs too?
Yeah, Roshan was out there. Herbert was out there. We did not see DeAndre Swift see the field, who is obviously the starter at this point. You don't pay a guy $20 million to be a role player, so
that's fair.
Roshan Johnson, though, that's really the running backs are a great place to start. So we saw action between Roshan Johnson and Khalil Herbert. Both looked pretty solid on the ground, obviously running against second team defense, but also with a second team offensive line. So I liked what I saw out of Roshan. He looked very explosive. Looked like maybe he's put on a little weight or just defined himself a little bit in the offseason and into training camp. Was really able to kind of lower his shoulder and fight for some yards on a few plays, which was good to see. I think Roshan Johnson is going to be a really special piece of this football team moving forward. I would honestly be surprised. I think I've said it a couple times here on the show that I would be surprised if Khalil Herbert is on this team at the end of the year. I think some sort of deal happens to negate the contract that he has with the Chicago Bears and get him out of here, whether that's a trade piece for another player and a draft pick from us to get a guy, another defensive end or something like that down the road, maybe a really good offensive lineman. We trade Khalil Herbert in a pick, something like that. Got Alex here in the chat being a little bit of a hater, saying it's never been good, though. I don't know what that's referring to, but I
think he's talking about the quarterback talk.
Oh, yeah. The quarterback talk has never been good.
Not with us.
Not with us.
Not with us.
But looking at Roshan Johnson and Khalil Herbert and their ability to find the holes, hit and execute, I was really happy with what I saw out of them. Another star was in the wide receiver position, and I think you said it best, Ace. So I'm going to let you start talking about.
Yeah, man. Are the new Megatron? We had Calvin Johnson, who played in the NFC North, and now we have Colin Johnson.
I wouldn't go that far after one preseason game, but Colin Johnson
3 receptions, 2 touchdowns, 18 yards per catch.
He's a big-bodied guy. He's fast. He's very fast. I believe he's from Texas. Correct me if I'm wrong. Texas Longhorn. He played very well last night. Obviously, was the reason that Brett Ripon. Is it Ripon? Ripien?
We call him ripping because he's just throwing the ball everywhere, man.
He was throwing the ball all over. Alex here in the chat saying, if they can go 50-50 or better, I'll let you shave my head. If they have a losing record, we shave.
Deal. You guys, it's right there. Alex is going to have to shave his head at the end of the season because the Bears are going to have a winning record.
Excuse me. Yeah. If you have to shave your head, Ace, I'm going to be very disappointed. I'll just say that because I don't think this squad has a losing record at the end of the year. I don't see it being possible just with the talent that this roster has. And Alex, you may have missed our last show, but we collectively agreed that the Bears have a top 5 receiver room now in the NFL. Really across the board, our secondary, PFF ranked our secondary 10th, which I think is a joke. I think that secondary is top 5 as well. Obviously,
the top 100 list came out too, and I don't believe Jalen Johnson was on that list.
The top 100 list came out, and they snubbed DJ Moore. That's all I'm saying.
They did, but they also snubbed Jalen Johnson, who was the top cover corner in the NFL last year.
Very frustrating.
The number 1 guy in the whole league last year. They did not put him on the top 100.
Those lists are a joke, and you know it. I mean,
I just don't get it.
Patrick Mahomes is number 1 every year, except this year he was number 4, but whatever. We got Big Mike here in the chat. Big Mike, Caleb needs to be good or all of this is out the window. Absolutely, Mike. However, I will counter that with saying that I believe Ryan Poles has put a good enough supporting cast around him that he just has to be good. He doesn't have to be great in order for this team to be successful.
And that's
kind of been the message from Ryan Poles is lean on the guys around you. We've built a support system here around you to make you confident in your abilities and not have to force things or push the ball downfield too much. I mean, obviously Keenan Allen, a huge acquisition for a young guy like Caleb Williams. I think he's going to lean on him when times get tough. And then obviously you've got top tier talent now locked in for the next 5 years collectively in DJ Moore and Rome Odunze. So
yeah, that was such a smart move too by the Bears. Like usually the Bears wait till the guy's in the last year of his contract before they decide to extend him. But
I like getting the deal done early with DJ. It makes sense.
Exactly. And you keep him on the same timeline with your quarterback and your rookie wide receiver, right? So those 1 year longer. Those 3 guys are going to be the foundation for this offense going forward. And I think it's important to note Keenan Allen was brought here as a safety valve option for Caleb Williams. But
Absolutely.
Then you also brought in Jarrett Everett, who is also kind of that. He's a veteran guy who can be used as in the tight end spot for Caleb when things get rough. You brought in you spoke earlier about Swift. You paid a running back $20 million. That guy is going to be a big piece to Caleb Williams' success, whether it's in the screen game, whether it's blocking, whether it's running the ball to take some pressure off of him.
And that's what I love so much about that acquisition of DeAndre Swift, Ace, is his ability to turn the screen game into long plays, his ability to, be a rollout type route guy and just catch the ball in open space and then go. Really, I think he complements DJ Moore very well. Obviously, the two of them have some history together. For those of the listeners that don't know, they played youth football together in Philadelphia, actually. So they've got some history there. But very similar in their run after catch abilities, I would say, really. Defensive coordinator Washington has said that DJ Moore is almost like a running back after he catches the ball. And one of the compliments of Swift is that he catches the ball like a wide receiver, even though he's a running back. So, but they both have that run after catch ability. Obviously, Swift being primarily used as a running back, he's smaller framed, a little more shifty. But if you get him the ball in open space, he's going to be gone. And You saw it so many times last year in Philadelphia with Jalen Hurts and their ability to kind of lean on him as a safety valve, as you were alluding to, Ace. I think it's going to be a very interesting season, this upcoming season, to say the least. Just when you look at the amount of playmakers that this offense has. Like, I will be disappointed if this team doesn't score 21 or more points in every single game this season. And there's no reason for them not to.
So this brings up a good spot. I wanted to talk to you about like expectations going into this season for the offense, for Caleb Williams. Like on DraftKings, we talked about this last week, I believe. The over-under is set at 3,500 and a half, right? So is it going to be a disappointment if he doesn't throw for 4,000 yards? Now, I say that so yeah, I agree. You look at the talent that you put around him. The offensive line's improved. Your wide receiver room is insane compared to most of these teams.
Absolutely.
Now, we talked about this before the show. How many quarterbacks last season threw for 4,000 or more yards?
I'm going to take a wild guess here, Ace, and I'm going to say 8.
So it's 10.
Okay.
10 quarterbacks, and I have the list, and I'll go over it right now. So
wait,
I'll go from
hold on.
first.
Do I get to guess here?
Yeah. Hey, yeah. All right, go ahead.
I feel like I can name them. Patrick Mahomes is obviously one.
So, yep, Patrick Mahomes is on there.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow is not on there, but he was also hurt.
Okay, this is
for
true.
Some games. Next. That's it. I just wanted to try the 2, and then once you struck out
I wasn't
on one.
expecting to fail on number 2. So let me reset there. Josh Allen.
Josh Allen is on there. Yes, he was the 4th.
Kirk Cousins.
No, he got hurt also though.
That's true.
All right, I'm just gonna go through.
Go
the
ahead.
list
Just read me the list. Otherwise,
I'm gonna go through the list. So from 10 to 1, it was Trevor Lawrence, Baker Mayfield, C.J. Stroud, Jordan Love, Patrick Mahomes, Brock Purdy, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, Tua Tagovailoa. Like,
wait a minute. Brock Purdy threw for 4,000 yards. Is that including the postseason or regular season only?
So this just says passing yards for the year.
Okay. Well,
so it's 4,280 is what he threw for.
Okay. The other one that's on that list that shocked me is Baker. I mean, I know he had a resurgence here, but I didn't realize he topped 4,000.
It was 44. So I mean, it was like just
barely
4,000,
right?
But
again,
46, yeah, almost 5,000 yards, man. Like, but that offense was insane.
You've got Cheeto over there.
Yeah, and Jalen Waddles. I mean, you got a solid offense on that.
So, as our good friends, I'm just kidding. I wish they were our good friends. As Troy Aikman and the other commentator that I don't really care for stated last night, and we've said on this network, the Bears have never had a 4,000-yard passer, guys. Will it be a disappointment if Caleb Williams doesn't throw for 4,000 yards? Absolutely yes, because I am tired of that stat getting brought up every single time there's any dead air. It's like every time the Bears play the Packers and they show the graph of the 28 quarterbacks the Bears have had in the same time period that the Packers have had too. I don't want to hear it. I'm tired of it, guys. This is the future. Caleb Williams and this regime under Ryan Poles is the future of the Chicago Bears, and I'm ready for a change. I'm ready for that 4,000-yard barrier to be broken. And as you alluded to, Ace, there's really no reason that they shouldn't be able to break that with the talent that's around Caleb Williams.
Right. I mean, DJ Moore last year had 1,000 yards.
With Justin
Allen,
Fields.
Right. Keenan Allen last year had 1,000 yards, and he missed 4 games. So right there, there's 2,000 yards between 2 wide receivers, right? So then you got to make up the difference. Assuming Rome has a pretty solid role in this offense, you give him 600 to 800 yards.
Right. I was going to say 7. So yeah, that works.
And then you got a tight end in Cole Kmet who will probably get around 5 to 7 also. Then you have your screen game, a couple other, mismatch guys that are going to be in and out of the lineup. I think if Caleb Williams, we talked about last week too, 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns, and this Bears team is going to be a serious team to compete with.
Absolutely.
So is my 13 win prediction really that crazy?
Adam Rank had 12, so I mean, a National Fantasy Football and NFL Insider had the Bears at 12 wins.
And I mean, last year I had 12, you had 11. They should have won 10.
Right, we should have.
We should have been almost there.
10.
Right,
yeah,
right.
We were close.
I don't want to say that we're usually
on
right on this. I don't want to say that we're usually right, but like even with the,
but we're usually right, guys. Is what he's saying.
We're usually right. Like it just happens that we're just so good at this that we're usually right.
We have broke a few things on this network, but let's get into our next topic, Ace, because this is something I am excited about. I am going to tell you, when I watched this, go ahead.
I got a little excited, more excited than I thought I would get. You know, I was like, oh my God, whew, I'm a little sweaty here. You know, it was, got me all hot.
Were you bothered? Hot and bothered?
Oh, hot and bothered.
All
for
right.
Sure.
Moving on. I am a big fan of sports, movies, films, documentaries, series. I just got done watching Receiver on Netflix. Loved The Last Dance when they put that out about the Bulls. 30 for 30 is my go-to. I have never watched a full season of Hard Knocks. The reason that I have not is because the Bears have never been on it. And I lose interest after a few episodes because it's not about my team. Like, you'll hear in the draft process, the Bears have been mentioned several other times, or like for positional trades, or the Bears offered this, blah, blah, blah. But for the most part, Hard Knocks is centered on that one team that is focused on that year, and that's it. So it's with great pleasure that we get to see our Chicago Bears be on Hard Knocks this year. And I've watched the trailer several times. As you alluded to, Ace, it gave me chills the first time I watched it, just because it was like, okay, we're ready. We can do this. This is a whole new vibe. This is the Chicago Bears of the future. So
it gave me chills, and they were multiplying.
Let's take a look at that.
Go to the trailer.
Credit to the NFL and HBO Max before we play this.
I can see the operation, the execution. Keep it simple and be consistent. We're going to give you the keys. You go and drive it. This is your team.
You better come to play.
Rough and tough monsters of the Midway.
You're going to get hit, and it's going to hurt. I like this kind of body.
With the first pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Caleb Williams.
Unequivocally, we have the right set of individuals.
That's what we do.
They're going to take us to the next level.
Shout out again to the NFL Network and HBO Max for an epic trailer for Chicago Bears training camp with the Chicago Bears Hard Knocks. Looking forward to this. I mean, you see the legends. They had Dan the Bear Man in that video.
Yeah.
Like,
he's in the Hall of Fame.
He is.
He's in the Hall of Fame.
He's in the Fan Hall of Fame, yes.
Yeah, still the Hall of Fame. I wish I was in the fucking Chicago Bears Fan Hall of Fame. Are you kidding me?
Maybe someday, Ace. Maybe someday. But
one can only hope. Dreams do come true sometimes.
You got to move out of that mansion up there in Wisconsin for that to happen, though, buddy.
Let me just tell you about that trailer.
Go ahead.
As a fan of this team, and you can attest to this, the years of suffering and pain, sadness,
the sorrow,
sitting on my couch. I remember vividly watching the Bears get their ass kicked, back-to-back weeks by the Patriots and the Packers, 50 burgers put up on them.
Throwing your remote on the ground.
I watched every single second of those games until the clock hit 00. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, man, like, this sucks. This is my life. All these sad, upsetting moments where you have so much hope and then you're kicked in the face right away, just like last season. And then to watch that trailer and see, like, the vibe of this team is completely different than any vibe that I've felt around this team ever. And I maybe it's Kool-Aid talk, maybe it's not. But the idea of Caleb Williams, this guy who is supposed to be a generational quarterback.
Okay to say it.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a generational quarterback. You get one of the top wide receivers in that same draft. You have a general manager who has done very little wrong since taking over. He's had a few hiccups. Well, yeah, okay, so
everybody Jones misses. I'm kidding.
And Chase Claypool, yeah, I mean, there's some things that you could clean up. But I've always heard, like, if you hit 40% as a GM, you're a good GM. You know what I mean?
And
like,
Foles is well above that bar.
I agree. Yeah, 100% he's well above that. So to get to go inside and watch my favorite team of all Chicago sports, the Bears are my team. I love all the other
I'm
ones,
right there with you. We've
when
talked
it comes
about
to which team I have to pick to be number one, it's the Bears. Like,
yeah,
it
we've
runs
talked
deep
about
with
it
my
time
dad and all
over
this
time.
shit.
Like, we can sit and talk. I can sit and talk Blackhawks. I can sit and talk Cubs. I can sometimes talk Bulls, but honestly, there's nothing better than the feeling of coming to these airwaves every week and talking football with you, Ace. And
right,
it gets me hyped for the games for the weekend. Obviously, when we do our pregame, that's usually right before kickoff. So I get hyped. I go in, turn the TV on, sit down, grab a drink, and bam, we're watching Bears football. There's nothing better than the feeling of just kicking back on a Sunday, Thursday night, Monday night, whenever it is during the week, and putting your feet up and watching some Chicago Bears football. However, that feeling is going to be amplified 10 times this season because, as you said, this team is very different than it's been in the past. The energy that you see in that trailer, the energy that you see all over training camp. So, obviously been watching a lot of the clips that we see the touchdowns to DJ Moore and Rome Odunze in the end zone, beautifully placed, chef kiss, so to speak, passes that Caleb Williams has been able to execute. Now, you can go and say it's just training camp. They weren't even in pads yet. Blah, 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 blah. Justin Fields never looked this good.
I was just going to say,
Mitchell Trubisky never looked this good in training camp.
100%. All you ever heard about training camp from those guys is, there's still a lot to learn. There's still a lot of growth that has to happen. Justin is struggling with this, or Mitch was struggling to do this, or the offense was having false start penalties in practice. Like, you're not hearing that kind of chaos that's happening right now. There is no chaos around the Bears right now.
There's been some struggles. There's been a little bit of struggles with pre-snap penalties and things like that early on, but that's to be expected.
Especially with a rookie quarterback.
And it was really just isolated to one day, and then they came and bounced back and committed no penalties the next two practices. So I am feeling extremely good about where the Chicago Bears team is at, my friend. I think that we have a lot to look forward to as fanalists here of the Chicago Bears, and we're going to have a lot to talk about throughout the season. So,
well, and what's really good is the Hard Knock episodes air on Tuesdays, and we do this show on Fridays. So it's going to be fun to be able to watch those shows. It gives us a day or two to make sure we get to watch it, and then come on here and break down what we watched on those shows as well.
So does it release every week? It releases every week. It's not just like, bam, here's 10 episodes.
No, I think it's 5 episodes usually, and it's every week.
They release every week. So for 5 weeks, we're going to have the opportunity to talk about how cool Hard Knocks was, as well as how cool it is that our Bears are 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, and 5-0.
6-0.
No.
I got them going 6-0.
No, you don't. You got them losing to Houston week 2, don't you?
No.
Oh, I thought you did. I'm
pull
sorry.
I'm pulling the clip for next week when we do our show.
That's totally fine. Bring it up. I want to see it. I think
Remember
I had
6-0? Was I painting my fingernails if they go 6-0? And I said,
Oh,
yeah,
yes, that's true.
yes, I'll paint my fingernails if the Bears go 6-0.
And
If there's anybody out there that
I
wants to
will
paint
not
my
be on
fingernails,
these airwaves with you if that happens.
I feel like I'm not going to be good at painting my nails. So if there's anybody out there that's interested in painting these bad boys up when the Bears are 6-0 to start the season, you just give me a call.
Good to know. Ace is looking for a manicure, everybody. But ultimately, man, it's an exciting feeling. It's a good time to be a Chicago Bears fan. There's lots for us to look forward to. I think after week 1, let's say Caleb Williams goes out and throws 3 touchdown passes over 300 yards in his NFL debut. People in Chicago will lose their minds, my friend. All we ever talked about when Justin Fields was here was that he had 2 300-yard games in 3 seasons.
I just heard this stat. I think he had 3.
Okay.
No, 2. And CJ Stroud had 9 last year.
Right.
In his rookie season.
In 3 seasons, Justin Fields with the Bears had 2.
And not even until his last year.
Games over.
It wasn't even until this
passing.
past year.
No, I think one of them came in year 2 when they played the Steelers, but I may be.
Oh, you're right. You're right. That was the game where everybody was like, "Oh yeah, this is it. Justin's coming."
He's taken the turning point, and then he looked like absolute shit the next week. Like, I love Justin Fields as a person. I think he's a really good person, but I clearly can see why this organization chose to reset the clock and go with Caleb Williams to be the face of this franchise. You drafted a guy that if he performs well over the next 2 seasons, you could sign him to a 10-year contract and have that position locked down like Kansas City did with Patrick Mahomes. I mean, it's a reality we've never had the opportunity to talk about as Bears fans.
And I do think that Caleb will make this a little difficult. He just seems to be that kind of guy when it comes to his contract.
He wanted to be paid as an LLC, right? He wanted to do that.
I mean, there's going to probably be some
peoples
in here that are going to cause
there will
problems.
be some going back and forth, but I guarantee
But I would rather have that problem.
Caleb Williams has won at least 1 Super Bowl by the time the Bears go to offer him a contract extension, and he likes the direction the team's going, he will resign. And I don't want to say this and sound like a total homer, but it's not if, it's when. It really is. I feel that that's the direction that this team is taking. Like, this Chicago Bears
team bogus
could
because
be very good.
We have to make it known, like, hey, we're not just being homers, even though we are. Like, that's our favorite team, right?
Well, and absolutely.
Yes, have I been obnoxiously wild in the past on this show, other shows that we've done? Absolutely, I have. A lot of the time, I'm just being over the top because I just like to be over the top.
That's your personality, and I respect it. I don't hate it. I really enjoy that about you. But you know what? This season is different. Go ahead. That's what you were going to say.
It is different. There's just the general manager has done so much right. You got rid of
in 3 years,
Sweaty Teddy out of
the. Sorry, I got a little ahead of myself there. In 3 years, you completely revamped this entire team from the ground up.
The entire organization.
You had the worst dead cap space in football when Ryan Poles came here.
Yep.
He cut those contracts. A lot of guys were upset in the first season to see players that they really liked watching on the Bears walk away. But this is the end result. We have built tremendously through the draft over the last 3 seasons.
He's
made
done
some
such
key
a good job
acquisitions and trades in the offseason. I mean, 3 years ago, there's no shot whatsoever that a guy like Keenan Allen wants to come play for the Bears, right?
No shot at all.
There's
no shot that DJ Moore would have signed the extension.
Right. DJ Moore would have been like, yeah, I'm ready to go and get out of here. And, you know, I really loved one thing that DJ Moore said during his presser the other day was he was asked, you know, he backed Justin Fields, was very vocal for him. but now you have Caleb to play with. What's that transition like? And he said, Justin was my guy because he was my quarterback, but Caleb's my guy times 2. And it just shows like the camaraderie that Caleb Williams has built with some of these guys already. You hear all these negative things about Caleb Williams being a diva and not being a good teammate, all this bullshit rhetoric that was trouted by the national media up until draft day, basically, has all been thrown out the window. Guys are saying Caleb's telling us to clean up after ourselves so it's not so hard on the janitorial staff. Like, things like that. You see him going, CHGO, shout out to Greg Braggs, caught a video of a little girl trading him gummy worms for an autograph on a Bears jersey, like at the fence after practice, unofficial. Just things like that. He's being so straightforward. And one thing I love the most that I've seen thus far, besides the play on the field, is his ability to really be raw and honest when answering questions at pressers. So
yeah,
that's something that I really applaud Caleb for, was his ability. The last press conference he spoke at, they asked him what he needs to improve as he goes into the season, and he just didn't say the generic, well, I need to hone in my craft and get a little better. No, he said, I need to read blitzes in this coverage formation a little better. I need to work on my pre-snap cadence. I need to do, and named like 5 things and said, I'm always learning. I'm always growing. That's huge for a quarterback to admit, because Justin Fields, after a 31-14 loss, would stand up there and say, yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know why we lost.
I know we were going to kind of go on a shorter show tonight, and that's because I got some stuff I got to take care of afterwards. But right. I want to just wrap it up with this, my final thought on Caleb Williams and the excitement that I have going into this year.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
There is no doubt in my mind that this is already the best quarterback the Bears have had in terms of potential, right? Justin Fields had potential. Mitch Trubisky had potential. Cutler's potential was there. But when you look at Caleb Williams,
his ceiling is their floor.
Exactly. And that's the thing. And that's why you made the draft pick, right? You picked him because you looked at him and said, okay, well, even if Justin Fields is his floor, then you can only get better. And that's why this team, to me, is ready to take I'm going to say a monumental step forward next season. I don't even think it's going to be a small step. I think it's going to be a significant step. You're going to see a better team, a better run organization,
so
a team that doesn't look lost.
Are they going to come out swinging, is what you're saying? Like,
yeah, I got them 6-0. I think that this team is going to come out and show like, hey, this isn't the same old baby Bears that you've grown accustomed to, where we're just going to get our asses kicked. No, we're going to go out there and we're going to fight. We're going to win, and we're not going to just lay over and watch all these other teams like Green Bay and Detroit and Minnesota just continue to jump over us leaps and bounds. I think this team, the NFC North is probably one of the top 3.
Notice.
That's right. Get noticed. I think the Bears win this division. I think the Bears end up making a deep playoff run. And
how deep? How deep we talking?
4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns. I got the Bears in the Super Bowl, baby. With this defense, come on.
Aces drinking the Kool-Aid tonight, my friends. But
Packers suck.
The Packers do suck. As Angelo alluded to, though, guys, we do have to cut the show a little bit short tonight. Ace has some conflicts in his schedule, so
yeah.
As unfortunate as that is, we could sit here and talk about Caleb Williams, the Bears, and Angelo's hair for hours. At least I know I could.
It is nice, huh? It is nice. I've been complimented so many times.
We did do a 4.5-hour draft show once. You remember that?
We did do a 4.5-hour show.
That was wild.
That was a long show.
Absolutely.
And we sat there the whole time and just talked all this stuff about how Justin Fields is going to be this and Mitch Trubisky was going to be that. And it was terrible.
And yeah.
What a waste
Here
of
we
our
are,
time.
though. We have our tackles positions solidified. We have
Dude, I got my
Caleb
Bears
Williams.
shirt on. I had to
The
get a
Bears
new
have
shirt.
one of the best wide receiver cores in NFL football in the history of the Bears, for sure. This is the best wide receiver core that we've ever
without
had.
a doubt.
Defensively, the team is strong. Our secondary is looking good. Our linebacking core is strong. Of course, with the jackhammer there, can't forget him.
That's
now,
right.
obviously,
Jack Sanborn,
Edmonds
baby.
and Edwards, tremendous acquisitions by Ryan Poles as well. So, as everyone says, let Ryan Poles cook. I'm excited for what this season's going to bring, and I'm very excited to see what move Ryan Poles makes before the season starts, because I don't think he's done, Ace. I think he's going to go out and get this defense one more piece that's going to really set us over the top, because this organization knows what this team's capable of, and I fully believe that Ryan Poles thinks this team is in the playoffs this year.
I think it'll
you
be a
asked him-
disappointment if you're not in the playoffs.
If you asked Ryan Poles that, I don't think he'd be able to poker face his way out.
I'll call him up and I'll see it. Hey, yo, Ryan.
Yo,
playoffs?
King Poles. You see the way he
King
was
Poles.
cheesing, smiling when he was talking about Caleb
Yeah.
Williams when he was in the booth last night with Kevin Warren, Aikman, and Troy Suck. I mean, come on.
All right.
Packers suck.
With that being said, guys, we appreciate all of you for taking the time to join us this evening. Be sure to go like, subscribe, and follow to the Undefeated Sports Network. We are on all major social media platforms: YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook. Go out there and follow us, guys. I'm sorry, it's X, not Twitter. Elon Musk had to ruin it, but whatever. Follow us on all platforms. Be sure to go like and subscribe. Leave a comment. It helps the algorithm, guys. Help us get our names out there with your friends as this network continues to grow.
And watch us shave Alex's head when the Bears have a winning season.
Absolutely. We appreciate each and every one of you. Have a good night, guys, and we will see you next week right here on Aces Wild on the Undefeated Sports Network.